Today, I want to share 3 things that helped me become a better photographer and took my adventures from average to awesome. These changes made me more confident, more consistent, and way less frustrated. But most importantly, increased my keeper rate by miles. Let's get into this. Dial in your kit. When I first started in landscape photography, I was obsessed with gear. I thought that more gear meant better photos, and I was always adding something to my bag until eventually it quite literally became overwhelming. But here's what I learned through that process. More gear rarely, if ever, creates better photos. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It causes frustration and hesitation when the decisive moment finally arrives. Eventually, you end up with too many decisions to make, which just becomes more stress, more indecisiveness, and a lot fewer keepers at the end of the day. I think, of all of the things that I did, the worst was spending a ton of money on gear that my favorite photographers used. The fact of the matter is that their kit matches their style, their vision, and their locations. That's not mine, and that's okay. But the takeaway is that you have to find what works for you and your style and your voice and discover the tools that help you meet your vision. Your goal should not be building a kit because your favorite photographer has something that you want. It should be building a kit that's an extension of your creativity, not a roadblock. Something that you can confidently use without ever questioning it. You know exactly what tool to reach for and when, so that you can focus more on the craft in the moment than fumbling around with endless decisions. Today, I only buy gear when I face a very clear limitation. Before I buy anything, I ask myself, what is my current gear preventing me from doing? And if I can't answer that clearly, the purchase probably isn't actually solving a problem. It's probably more of a want than a need. But it has to be a specific problem, not I want sharper photos or I want better depth of field. That's more than likely just a technique problem, and you probably just need a little bit more practice, and that's fine. But a real limitation sounds something like, I can't get the composition that I want at the locations that I'm shooting. Well, that could be a focal length issue. What focal lengths do you have? What are you missing? Is there a lens that you could rent that you could test this theory out and see if it'll help? Or, I want more refinement of my compositions in the field. Well, that sounds like a tripod could probably help. If you already have one, maybe a different tripod head. You can explore these options, but those are real, valid limitations. And approaching gear like this will help you figure out what you really need to set your vision free. You start by using your bare bones kit and just work outward. I'm talking one body, only the essential lenses, the absolute bare minimum that you need to produce a photograph. From there, take note of those pain points, those limitations, and use that as your guide in buying gear. Because when gear becomes an extension of your vision, ideas can finally flow. The goal is to become intentional, to know exactly which tool is right for the job, so indecisiveness disappears and your vision takes over. Less gear means fewer decisions. Fewer decisions means more intentional photography. And more intentional photography means better photographs. Arrive early and stay late. This was the single biggest level up for me, and it's so easy to do. Like many photographers, when I first started shooting landscapes, I would show up 20 minutes to sunrise or 20 minutes to sunset. I would shoot the giant orange ball on the horizon, pack it up, go home victorious. I had achieved what I set out to do. But I had no idea that I was actually missing the best light. And everything changed when I started arriving an hour or more before sunrise and staying at least 1 hour after sunset. Because early on, we're all told that golden hour is the best light, which is true. It's great light for photography. But the best light is in this short window that I call the transition phase, when you're right between blue hour and golden hour, when the sun is at just the right angle to paint the underside of those clouds with those bold reds, pinks, purples, oranges. And the best part is that if there are no clouds, you can almost always count on incredible gradients. That soft, magical light that you find in so many powerful photographs occurs at these times. This is when you're going to find those brilliant, colorful skies, that smooth, soft contrast, and those moody elements that take a photograph from good to great. Try it on your next trip and experience it for yourself. Do not obsess over apps. I love the tools that we have available to us today. If you're looking for information on just about any aspect of photography, there's probably an app for that. Weather, cloud cover, sunrise and sunset forecasts, and the ability to see how light's going to fall across a landscape before it ever even happens. When used properly, these are powerful tools for planning and visualizing a photograph before you even get there, before you even set up. But these can also be the biggest creativity killers in photography. My best advice: do not obsess over the information that these apps are giving you. The more that you check that information, weather forecasts, whatever, the more you obsess over that, the more unlikely you are to get out there. It might look like it's not going to be exactly what you wanted, so you negotiate with yourself. That doubt creeps in, you hesitate, and suddenly you're starting to look for reasons to not go at all. I've done it. I'm just as guilty as the next person. But here's what I did to get myself back out the front door and back out into the field. I check my apps once and I leave it at that. I use that information as a guide to plan my day. I check to see what gear I might need, if there's any safety concerns I need to be aware of, what type of light I should be prepared for, and maybe if I need to pack a few extra things. But that's it. If it's safe, I'm going. I'm committed. There's no negotiation, no backing out. I use that information to tell me what I can shoot instead of trying to talk myself out of what I wanted to shoot. Landscape photography very rarely gives us what we want, and even more rarely does what we expect it to. The reality is that obsessing over these apps, this information, it's not going to make you a better photographer. It only makes you less consistent. Because if you only shoot when the conditions look perfect and you essentially become a fair weather photographer, you're only learning to be dependent on rare outcomes. The photographers that improve the fastest are the ones that get out there under all conditions, under all challenges. Because doing that teaches you how to problem solve in real time. You learn how to build mood when the light is flat and boring. You learn how to simplify scenes even when they feel messy and cluttered. Or you can work on your pivot points when plans go sideways and maybe the grand landscape isn't working, so you lean on those intimate scenes. The point is that bad light, rain, wind, bluebird skies, you name it. Yes, I agree, it's not always ideal, but it teaches you what to do under all conditions. And the best part is that those experiences are usually the ones that are going to help you build your style and your voice in the best ways. This means that when you finally take that big dream trip to wherever you want to go in the world and you get there and things just don't work out the way you had hoped, you have a backup plan because you've seen it. A forecast is not a final verdict. It's just information, so don't treat it like the end-all be-all. It's up to you what you do with that information, so check your apps once, make a plan, and commit. All those lessons, they compound over time, but that only happens if you get out there and you try. There are no shortcuts in landscape photography. You have to learn from your experience. Some of my favorite photographs of all time have happened on days that should have been a bust, but I went out anyways and I found my shot. So if you want to take your photography to the next level, start here and see where it takes you. Dial in your kit so that it's an extension of your creative process, and stop fighting decisions. Arrive early and stay late so that you're ready for the best light. And stop obsessing over all the information in those apps and the weather and everything else so that you can build real skills in photography. Just like anything else in life, photography rewards the people who show up prepared and keep showing up. Leave a comment below. Tell me which one you think is going to help you the most in your adventures. If you guys want to learn more about the experiences, the moments, and the lessons that have helped me over the years, check out the LAKESCAPE Photography Podcast. On every episode, I sit down with landscape photographers from all backgrounds, all walks of life, and we talk about everything from mindset to experience to the very moments that made us who we are. It's available on all podcast platforms, and it's linked in the video notes below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel. Take care, everybody.